Hello, everyone. I'm Lindsay McGuire, Associate Director of Content and Campaigns at Goldcast, and I am here to talk about how to scale your content strategy quickly with event content repurposing. So let's get started. First, let's talk about the current state of content marketing madness. Yes, I said madness. First, small teams. You're likely a team of one or two trying to do everything, and I mean everything. Second, budget cuts. Your budget has either stayed stagnant or it's likely shrunk, and I'm sorry if it's that second option. Third, there's this pressure to scale. Although you haven't expanded your resources, such as your team, your tech, or your budget, you're still expected to scale what you're putting out the door. And last but not least, this all has led into intense goals. All this, yet your goals have likely gone up year after year. So what's a marketer to do? Repurpose. Now, what exactly do I mean by that? Here is how I define content repurposing. Adjusting existing content to fit into the standards of other distribution methods and platforms in order to reach different audiences. Now, for this presentation, I'm obviously speaking about events. For my examples, they're going to be virtual events, but you can also think about this from an in-person event standard too. So what exactly are the benefits of repurposing content? I've kind of laid the groundwork of what I mean when I'm talking about repurposing content, but why would you do it? First and foremost, you can reach new audiences. It's likely that your audience isn't just consuming your content from one channel and you're not able to reach the entirety of your preferred audience through one channel. So if you're able to take a larger asset like a live virtual event, repurpose it, retool it, rework it to then be able to distribute on other channels, you're able to reach new audiences in ways you couldn't before. And then that also leads you to excel across platforms. So over time, you're going to be able to understand what your specific audience wants and needs out of LinkedIn, out of YouTube, out of your email newsletter. Then you can take these larger pieces of content and rework them in ways that works on those other channels. And last but not least, it minimizes stress on your team. Think about it. You're running large scale campaigns. You likely need 10 or 15 assets to run that campaign. Well, with content repurposing, you can create one great piece of content, tweak it, retool it, and then you have those 9, 12, however many pieces that you need without having to do it net new. So let's get into some examples. First, let's talk about repurposing event content. Let's say you repurpose one virtual event into a podcast, video clips, social media, and a blog post. Let's see how. This first one is talking about repurposing an event into a podcast. Our friends at Bamboo HR do this on a twice monthly schedule. They run a live event called HR Unplugged. That's the landing page at the top you can see. And then they repurpose that live event into a podcast. That bottom screenshot is actually from that episode on their Spotify podcast streaming. If you want details on how they've done this, click that link on the series masterclass episode 3. You do have access to these slides. Mike goes into detail about how they've run this distribution strategy and why it's worked to scale the distribution of this live event. Next, let's talk about turning your event into video clips. This is an example from Goldcast AI Summit we ran end of last year. We created multiple short form clips for YouTube and created a best of playlist for that event. This works for a variety of reasons. It allows us to better optimize that content for YouTube and search. We're able to reach our audience there who might like to engage with shorter clips versus longer full episodes or longer sessions. Also gives us another way to get in front of that audience and push them back to the original content. Now let's talk about using events and social media promos. So this is something that works if you have multiple events you're running that are attached to each other, or you can use to promote the other ones. This instance comes from our series masterclass, which was all about how to create, launch, and grow an event series. After the first episode aired, we pulled some of the best clips to share across social media, not only to educate our audience and promote our thought leaders who were on that event, but also to then further promote registrations for the next episode. So in this instance, this was one episode of a 4-part closed series. So you can use that content to not only educate your point of view, but push promotions for future episodes. Again, if you want details, the link to the post and the original masterclass is there too. And last but not least, turning an event into a blog post. This is from our Donuts and Demand show. It's a live monthly event we run for demand generation marketers. Each month we take that event, we pull out the best quotes, video snippets, pieces of content from our speakers, put it into a blog post, and I actually use AI to do all of this. And I'll talk about that here in a little bit. But The link to the event is there, as well as the blog post to see this example in real life. So next, let's talk about events that feature customers. So let's say you have a specific field event, a virtual field event going on, and you have a customer come on to tell their story. How can you repurpose that? Well, let's dive in. First, easy peasy lemon squeezy, turn that interview from that event into a customer story. However you format those on your website, it's really up to you, but the best way to reuse that content first and foremost is creating a case study or customer story. Next, turning that interview from that event into social proof. So this is two examples here. One is a beautiful graphic we shared on our LinkedIn. We tagged the customer, their brand, added context, what they were talking about. And then we've also gone through the best snippets from that event and then put her commentary in our website where it made sense with our product. And then taking that interview and turning it into video clips. So people love to see the real human behind that story, right? So having those video clips integrated into that customer story, into larger assets on our social media or website, wherever, brings an authentic human voice, face, person into the story so it's more relatable. And last but not least, you can turn that event into sales outreach. So in this instance from Phil, he pulled out the best statistics that they shared during that event. They put it into an email, and now they're using that to prospect and outreach into like accounts that were similar to that customer he hosted on the event. So now let's dive into serialized event content. So if you run any kind of event series on a monthly, bi-monthly, bi-weekly cadence, here's some ideas of how to reuse that event content. So let's dive in. First is using the polls from your event on social media. For Donuts in Demand, we like to repurpose the polls we run during the event on our social media. So you'll see here, we ran a poll over on LinkedIn. This was actually pulled from a poll we ran during our live event. And you can also repurpose the results from those polls. So for instance, you can put that into research on your social media, into blog posts, etc. Next, let's talk about nurture emails. So this is actually an email that we use Goldcast Content Lab AI tool to automatically create based on the content from that event. So in this instance, this is an outreach email going to demand generation leaders who we think would find value from this episode as we're trying to get in front of that brand, that prospect. And then giveaway promos. So if you're running a series, it's likely you're probably doing giveaways as well. So one great strategy we've done is clipping out a video that talks about the episode giveaway, pushing that to social media and asking people, hey, do you like this giveaway item? Do you want to win it? Using it for kind of a social gamification and a chance to win opportunity. And last but not least, putting screenshots from events into blogs. This is in the blog 4 Things Demand Generation Marketers Should Unlearn in 2024. It is focusing a screenshot from the Q&A session in a Donuts and Demand event and repurposing that into a blog. So you can take screenshots of your polls, screenshots of Q&A, screenshots of chat messages, anything you can reintegrate back into your content. So you're probably saying, hey, Lindsay, this is great. So much stuff. There's so many opportunities. But like, again, I'm a small team, don't have a lot of tools, don't have a lot of resources, small budget. How in the hell do I do all of these things? Well, luckily, I have a suggestion for you, and that is Goldcast Content Lab. So it's the first AI-powered studio to turn your events and videos into a multi-channel content strategy. So how this works is Goldcast brings in your events recorded on the platform, or you can upload video. You get AI-suggested video clips, a super easy-to-use video clip editor, insightful SEO-rich blog posts automatically populated, and also things like outreach emails, social media copy, key takeaways, blog outlines, the whole kit and caboodle. So if it's time to make content repurposing easy with AI, you can learn more at goldcast.io/platform/content lab.